This might be the best box drop of 2023 holiday season. It's the Clash Discs box. They just call it Box 2023, and it's actually out of 1/4-inch birch plywood. You can't hear me because unfortunately I turned off my microphone like an idiot right as I was trying to put it under my shirt, but it comes in a really nice relief cut wooden box, which is 2 pieces, and it includes 6 Clash discs. None of them are misprints or stock clearances, and I'll put on the screen what each of them might be if you want to get a box yourself, but we're going to play 18 holes here at Village Green in Colorado, trying to shoot between 6 and 9 under par, and we're going to get started on hole number 1 with the only distance driver in the box. All right, first disc I think we're going to throw is going to be the Sage. Call it 12.6 -1.3. It's pretty flat for those numbers, and it feels a little wide. It almost feels more like a 13 speed. It's the only distance driver in here. We do have a 10 speed as well, but this one, it's going to be useful because we got some longer holes. This one is going to be just a forehand because we got a Mando to the left of that pole going to the basket that's out there. Threw a couple backhand warm-ups. My forehand's been trash. It doesn't feel like it's gonna flip. It feels like it's gonna be pretty stable, but I'm gonna just try to throw it hard and flat out there. Yeah, okay. It's actually kind of more neutral than I thought. We'll have a look. That disc honestly feels pretty interesting. I know that they have the Salt and the Wild Honey, both of which are really, really solid distance drivers. The Wild Honey, definitely on the flippier side. The Salt, almost like Destroyer-esque, which is interesting because I think it has very similar numbers to the Sage. And the Sage being a 5 glide, you'd think it has a little more dome than what we saw on that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's overly glidey, but I also know that my forehand is trash recently, but it held straighter than I anticipated. We are into a slight headwind, so maybe it will actually flip, but I think we'll get some good use of that on some of these longer holes, because if I pushed it to or slightly past the basket on my forehand right now, it means it probably goes a good ways, because that's typically, this is not like a max distance forehand, but it shapes up kind of difficult for me. Not a bad run. That's better though. It feels like sharper, like it really feels like a 13 speed to me, not a 12 speed. They do call that one a par 4, so we could be cheap and take the birdie, but it's definitely a par 3. Hole 2 is 295, straight ahead, slightly downhill. We're gonna try to be mostly backhand because that's what I've been training, and my forehand has not been great, as you saw. Underwhelming is my first thought, but we have a lot more driver holes, or maybe like 3 or 4 more driver holes, so we'll get to see. This one I'm really excited about because this is mostly mids in this box that I got, but we have a double steady mint. I think you can get a mint or a cinnamon, and the cinnamon's like kind of like a CD1, slightly flippy, 9 speed. This mint is relatively domey for me. I really like the kind of over moldiness. It's a deep zone equivalent. It almost feels more like a mid-range than your typical zone. I'm interested to see how stable it is. We're gonna try to throw it on a touch of flex. Oh, it is pretty stable. Very glidey. Whoa. That was surprising. I think I threw it like 60 feet past the basket. It reminds me-ish of the Savior from Latitude 64. Yeah, this double steady, I don't know if it's because of that it makes it so domey, but it's like really comfortable and it throws very well, but it definitely wants to flight to the left. I was hoping to get like some sort of putting putter because I'm still trying to find a new putting putter for myself. For now, we're still working with the Piers. I know they just recently came out with the Candy, which is supposedly similar numbers. I texted one of the owners of my local shops and they didn't have the Candy, unfortunately. Ooh, dang. Not the end of the world. We're kind of figuring these things out as we go, obviously. I think the next hole might be a mint hole as well. We'll try to throw all these guys a couple times. First up is going to be this one, which is the sound of disc golf, because I think Clash is like running an ad campaign of like, hey, we're here to make sound, which is pretty cool. I like a lot of the pictures, but this is a 4-speed, I believe, in their Sunny plastic, which is kind of hard actually. I kind of really like it. It's supposed to be somewhat flippy. We're going uphill into a slight left to right. Put it on hyzer kind of right at the basket. This Sunny plastic feels really, it might be my favorite. Just be smooth. Wow, that thing wants to go. That was a really beautiful flight. Throw the mint as well. That's a really nice, that thing is sick. I like that mint a lot. I don't think it would replace my zones. I think it's a little too fast. Oh, I just pinched my finger. And I'm also trying something else a little with my form of like, kind of feeling a little more tension through my core as I reach back. And that actually helped me throw a good anhyzer, which if you've watched the last couple videos, has not been something I've been doing very well. Let's go, finally. Obviously we wanna take our first score, but I wanna see how some of these fly. So we'll probably throw 2 on a lot of these. This is a really cool looking bar stamp. Really reminds me of like the Discmania, and something about just a really simple stamp. Something about it I really like. I don't know why, but I got a Steady Spice. Apparently this is Steady. I think it's just a little bit gummier than the Sunny, which is a little harder. I've never thrown one of these. It's the Eric Oakley 10-speed, 10404. I think this is about 340 downhill into a headwind. Kind of see how stable it is. I mean, it looks pretty stable. Yeah, wow, that's nice and stable. Holy cow, skip in. That phased through the basket, dude. I think, honestly, touch a hyzer a little left of the basket. Oh, I thought it'd turn a little more. Maybe it's a little too nose up compared to the grade of the hill. Gets down there though. Dude, that thing genuinely had to have been inches away. Are you serious? I really thought I got a first shot ace. I've never done that before. New mold, first shot ace. I mean, I don't imagine many people have, but that'd be sick. If you've done that, leave that story in the comments. Gosh, we're good at disc golf, baby. If you don't like excuses, skip 5 seconds, but I think you only get like so much energy, and so I really intentionally not practice putting so I can put more energy towards my form work. That means that every putt is a hope and a prayer a little bit. This one, 300 feet, throwing a new disc. We'll kind of see how they differ. We have, this is the peach. We're gonna be throwing the cherry, which is similar but much blunter. I don't know the numbers on it, but it was reminiscent of a Midnight Prowl 2, but it feels a little chunkier in my hand right now than when I first threw it in Kansas City. We're gonna throw the cherry first, just a touch of turnover, let it glide to the left or to the right. Okay, we didn't turn it at all. Okay, it's more stable than I thought, but like a lot. Like that's the shot that I was trying to throw that I just threw in. Woo! All right, distance control is on point. But I do absolutely think that the peach is a little more understable than the cherry, because I threw them both relatively equally flat. The peach probably a little more right, but the peach wanted to turn, the cherry really didn't want to. The last one is the prototype Guava, which if you look at it, compared to the cherry, party line is definitely a little higher, but it's also a little less blunt. So I'm guessing it's gonna be slightly more overstable. We have a little headwind with a Mando left, so we're just gonna throw a turnover towards the basket. It's about 315. Maybe not quite the disc I choose for this hole, but in this wind, it might be. Wow, dude, that thing rips. I don't think I'm ripping, but that thing rips. Holy cow. Here's the cherry on a similar line. Not quite as much anhyzer, but doesn't really fight out of it nearly as much. Same spot, and the peach. Definitely flippier. They're all pretty close though, especially in those plastics. I don't know, I said I've been looking for a slightly more overstable mid-range. I'm gonna have to throw it a little bit more, but the way that I ripped that thing over way more than the other two. It's way past the basket, so it might be a little too fast. It really did start to fight out of it, even into a slight headwind. So I'm excited to keep testing that one specifically. I think the cherry is cool, but it's a little too big in my hands. And the peach I'm honestly loving. Park down again. And I think we're starting to get a good idea of how these discs fly. So we got a little left to right here, 295 down the hill. I think we're gonna try the Guava again, just on a bit of a hyzer. This thing has the opportunity to be one of my favorites. I have a Pathfinder here, which they honestly look pretty similar, holy cow. The one thing that looks a little different though is this is a little more curved towards the bottom and this is a little flatter. I don't know what difference that's gonna make. We'll throw the Guava first and I'll show you the Pathfinder. A little deep, but money. Thing held really well. A little more flip initially out of the Pathfinder, a little worse shot, skip in. Similar result. I really thought that missed. This plastic feels so good, and the rim kind of feels like it comes in, so I really get a great grip on it. 245, hole 8, right up the hill. Honestly, might be a good one just to try this spice on a forehand, kind of how Eric Oakley designed it. Money, dude. We'll get to take the sage back out again next hole. I think it's like 440 or so. I'm interested to see how that thing reacts on a backhand because I threw that spice on a forehand a couple holes ago that I didn't put in the video because it was trash. It reacted very differently than my backhand. And so that first forehand with the sage might react very differently than my backhand, which maybe 80 feet of power difference right now. No think, just putt. So I forgot to turn on the camera for a shot next hole. Not bad because I ended up thinking about too many form things and not throwing it great. I mean, it would have been like the easiest up and down par in the world. I still got pretty good distance for throwing basically a hyzer with the sage. So I'm excited to see kind of how it flies on a anhyzer. We'll give an ace run to this guy with all these while we wait. I 'Cause 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 ' All right, let's figure out this cherry, dude. Gross. This will actually be a good hole to kind of see max flight on all these discs. We do have a maybe 10-mile-an-hour tailwind, so it might help us to get down there. Honestly, a little uncomfortable in the hand. With kind of where the parting line is, it makes it feel like a 13 speed, where I think if they pop the dome up a little bit, just in the middle, and the parting line kind of came with that top of the mold, it would feel much more like a comfortable neutral 12 speed, which I think it's a neutral 13 speed, but it definitely feels fast. Man, I cannot throw an anhyzer. Well, that's almost what happened the first one. Well, we're almost pin high, but throw the cherry real fast. Try to throw these guys flat. Or we'll throw on a touch of hyzer like that. So that one kind of, you've really seen it ride. It's getting down there. Wow, really getting down there. And the guava. Yeah, okay, guava is definitely more stable thrown at higher speeds, but they seem very similar at lower speeds. That one's gonna flip and like go much straighter. So this definitely just taught me something. The sage, which I tried to power up on and ended up I threw it a little worse because I was like trying to really rip over on it and forgetting the like form cues that I was doing that was working with everything else, probably because I needed distance. It only went 40 feet farther than these mid-ranges thrown on hyzer. And it's a 12 speed, so it's a little embarrassing right there. Eesh. All right, so we're 9 holes in. 2 down. I've really liked how my like little form cue that I do of coiling into my core has helped me. I imagine you can even see a difference in the shots between the anhyders that I threw before and me trying to throw the anhyzer with the sage. But my favorite disc so far, in order, which could change over these last 9 holes, is number 1, Guava. I really like this. This is probably gonna be going in my bag to test because I haven't been in love with the Pathfinder, and this thing seems to have a slight bit more of overstability and torque resistance, especially because both that one and the blue Pathfinder are relatively new. Second, I think, is gonna have to be the berry, for sure, and then the mint. And then it's gonna go spice, cherry, and sage right now is my least favorite. I think I've tried the other distance drivers from Clash, and I think I like every other distance driver that I've tried from Clash over the sage. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad disc, but we'll get a couple more chances to really try to rip on it. And I'll try to throw it on some holes where I throw the other discs as well, maybe on the forehand or the backhand. I just am not a flatter distance driver guy. Like, I just can't do it, so. Sure. Into slight headwind, I mean, perfect guava shot, like everything. We'll go guava and then we'll spice it up with the forehand. Like, it just doesn't get better than that. Oh my gosh, come on. I'm like all over the basket today. Wow, my forehand is so bad right now. Skip. I don't know why, I feel like I'm gonna ace today. We're getting close. Almost did it with the spice, almost did it here. Freaking hit the top of the band with that cherry. And I'm definitely more seeing the difference between the cherry and the guava now as I throw them more than 280 feet, you know what I mean? We're gonna get another chance at the sage next hole. Hopefully we can tap this into birdie. Thank God. Whew. Something about putting a driver in my hand makes me think, go and be stupid and rip it. So if we can just make sure that we throw the same shot that we just did with the mint, but with this, even with the anhyzers, actually throw it on anhyzer to the right of the basket. It calls it 445. I think it's probably closer to 420. I don't have a rangefinder to really range it, but yes, there we go. Big skip, big skip, big skip. I think I threw it long. Those guys are being impressed, so that makes me think that I threw it long. Whew. These putts are scary. That's how you know I'm really bad right now. It's a little too flat for me to really be a bomber, and it's not flippy enough for that. But I think it'll beat in pretty well. Still like a good driver, and some people will like it, especially with bigger hands. I think it's probably really good on a flick because of how flat it is. I'm just not a really big forehand player right now, but you forehand players who like the Wild Honey or the Salted Tudomi, you're gonna like that a lot, I think. That was really zoomed in, sorry, my bad. How's this? Hole 12, 4 down, straight ahead. I think a mint is kind of the shot here. Mint is the shot here. This is what the sage is good for me right now. All right, we're gonna force the issue. 290 downhill, perfect for a crappy forehand. Spike it right next to the basket. I do think like hyzer, this thing like, it wants to get to the ground. It is pretty flat, like very high parting line, but you can flex it and it'll like stay left and pan right. I think it's a little long, but that's pretty good. Classic. Well, it's still 4 under. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do except cry? 5 holes left. We got one kind of bomber-ish. The rest kind of shorties. So annoying to walk up to a putt knowing you're about to miss and you still miss. All right, mint. I really like this thing. 255. It seems like a easier to throw zone. Like if you're like your zones are way too overstable, even your ESP ones, this is probably a good replacement because it's definitely glidier. It's more domey, kind of like an A2, but not nearly as overstable. Perfect. Bitch. Drop. Drop. Guava. I could do it. What is life, dude? Oh yeah, take that to the bank, buddy. I made a 20-footer, let's go. I thought it was like way longer. It's like left of that tree that you can see almost in line with it. So we'll see kind of how the mint fares on a forehand then. Okay, not nearly as torque resistant on a forehand. I torqued it over a bit just to see if it would fight out of it, and it did eventually, but it took it a pretty good minute too. The line is like what I would have thrown with like my ESP zone, my slightly flippier one, and I think I would have parked it with that. This one I think is long, but it's also left. Yeah, it's pretty far, holy cow. Got it. Don't listen to me. I'm just a liar. Another one that they call 445. It's kind of down there. I think it honestly is probably closer to like 400 or 420, similar to the last one that was like that. Turnover with the sage. Be smooth. Wow, Anthony. All right. A little overcompensation. Let's check out the peach. Holy crap. That disc is just so money and buttery. But that might be in circle 1. Now the Guava. If this thing gets down there, it's going in my bag. If I birdie with the Guava, it's going in my bag for the off season. I might do it. Circle 2, I think. Not bad. Not quite as far as the peach, but a good rip. I'm not gonna lie, we kind of crushed this thing. Distance-wise, traveled probably 40 feet past the basket. Toss up a mint for an easy little tap-in ski. Go in. Oh, dang it. That would have been the most casual throw in my life. Maybe that's how I need to do all my upshots from now on. That was crazy. It's because there was someone playing there, and this is on the fairway of another hole. Holy crap. Throw in that Guava. I think it's in circle 2, maybe about 50 feet. Those mids were definitely a bit farther than I thought they were initially. Easy par. Hey, no bogeys today, that's a win. Guava's a little bit farther than the berry. And I mean, this was, out here, it's into a headwind. So this isn't bad for this hole. Didn't ever want it, dude. Didn't ever want it. I'm kind of just making all the excuses to put it in my bag because I really like it. And the Guava is just like, it's such a good name. It's like, it just rolls off the tongue. Sneaky good disc, sneaky good name, sneaky good fruit. All right, 265, got that right to left as you can see. We're gonna try to forehand the mint again. Almost put it on hyzer at the basket, and I think it'll honestly flip a bit in this wind. Yeah. Okay, I did the right thing that I wanted, and we got the right distance. We're just a little long, that's not terrible. So when I did an unboxing of these over on Banana Froth, I said that I thought the mint was gonna be similar to a Harpoon, where it's overstable, but Lone Star amended the numbers to be like 4402 or something. And I think that that's exactly the case here. It's not like a zone or A2 style disc, but it's still overstable, but it's also much less torque resistant. That's why I'd say it's more like a 4402. Still overstable approach disc. It's got a lot of glide. Man, have some commitment in your life. Okay, I'm gonna start practice putting, not because I care about it for tournaments, because those are still months out, but for my sanity of not embarrassing myself every single time I go out and shoot a video. I mean, I do that enough as it is, but still, holy cow. 245, straight ahead, is gonna be the mint again. Has to be. You know what, actually we'll try to forehand the Guava. See how that goes. Really well. Yeah, oh, go in. I really took a lot off of it and spun it a lot more. Okay, this thing's absolutely far enough to miss. but not for me today, baby. You guys are thinking I was gonna miss that? Are you kidding me? What evidence would you have to think that? It's embarrassing for you, honestly. It's kind of crazy that you never know when form work things are gonna hit for you. And mine just happened to be today during the rounds, and I felt like I was kind of ripping it. Guava, my favorite disc out of these, by far. That's going in my off-season bag, almost guaranteed. It's gonna fight with the Pathfinder, but I've been falling out of love with the Pathfinder, and I fell in love with that thing today, so bias. Next, I think Peach. This thing is sick. This Sunny Peach, I love how stiff it is. If I can get a Sunny Guava, and it's like a more stable Guava, chef's kiss. Third, I think we're gonna have to go mint. I really like this, even though it's not my style of approach disc. Like, I wouldn't bag it, but I really liked it. And then the cherry grew on me, so it's gonna be tied with the spice. Mostly just because my forehand is trash right now and I didn't have a lot of backhand fairway driver holes, so I didn't throw the spice a lot on the backhand. I will like it a lot, I think, on that backhand. I like those force overs. And then the least favorite for me was the Sage, because I'm not a forehand guy. And these two discs definitely seem more forehand than backhand friendly. Thanks guys for watching. Thanks so much, class, for sending this out. I know they only sent it to 3 people, and I'm really grateful and humbled that I would be one of the people that they want to send it to. Hopefully I did a good job with the review. I think they're coming out soon. Also love that box. That thing is gonna be hung up and like used. Watch another video. I don't know which one, but it's gonna be right there. Do it, please. And I'll see you later. Bye.